Play.
Strong performance. What are your thoughts being back on this court?
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy with the performance, especially how I used the important moments at the end of first and second set. And yeah, it's never easy to play first match on any stadium, and here especially because the conditions are a little bit more tricky. So I'm happy that I'm through.
Congrats.
Thank you.
You mentioned on court that Southern California, Indian Wells was a little overwhelming for you at first when you were a new player, and now you've gotten kind of comfortable here. I just wonder if you could elaborate a little bit and talk about what you've come to like about this place, and is it one of maybe the places you look forward to coming to more than any other, and if so, for what reason?
Yeah, for sure. Here we always spend a lot of time here because we're getting here earlier to have a jet lag basically. So yeah, when I was younger, I just I felt overwhelmed by the all these fans, and the courts are so big even though it's not a Grand Slam. So and everybody is kind of more motivated and more pumped to practice. So at first I felt that, but now I just take a lot of positive energy from everything that's going on. The tournament is taking care of us really nicely, and I don't know, I feel more comfortable kind of everywhere because I just grew up and I got more experienced. So it's always nice to also come back to a place where you already won a tournament.
We'll go right here.
Hi. You seem to be a very quick study from players you've played before, and especially players who pushed you. Do you learn a lot when there's a player that pushes you and you try and improve that sort of head-to-head a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we try to watch and analyze, and since I started working with my coach, the one that I'm working with right now, Tomasz Wiktorowski, he has a really good eye and really good perspective on tennis, and when we started watching matches, I just felt like I can learn tactically much more and then use it on court. So I remember having a few players that I didn't like playing against, and then I started to be more comfortable and win against them. So yeah, for sure his help is a lot.
Hi. In the past, you said one of the things you learned is in the long process of a tennis year to play well when you're not necessarily feeling that well, or tired, or just out of sorts. Could you just talk about how you perform, how you manage to perform well when you're not feeling well?
Well, honestly, there are different reasons, so you have to react differently and find different solutions. I think most of players would tell you that they don't feel comfortable most of the time. They only have probably, I don't know, if they have 5 tournaments per year where they feel great. That's a lot, So yeah, you have to just kind of don't panic and take it step by step, because I already had plenty of tournaments where I didn't play well, during the first matches, and then I was able to change my game and adjust a little bit more, so I could win titles, So this gave me a little bit more perspective, and it showed me that I shouldn't judge too early my game, even though I may not, play so well or feel comfortable. And for sure.
Ready? Play.
Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you're tuning in from. We are here to talk about Swiatek against Noskova, but we will also be keeping an eye on other matches too. I think Tsitsipas is playing Tiafoe. Am I right, Basil?
Yes, yes, yes.
And how are you?
Usual. I'm fine. Trying to be on the television to watch the Indian Wells. It's okay. It's okay. Time for resting.
And are you enjoying the tournament so far?
Yes, of course. It's a special one.
Yes. What about Iga? What are your thoughts on her and her chances in Indian Wells this year?
After she won Doha, I thought that she's going to be good this year, not like the last one. And she played very good 2 days ago against Collins.
She
And
did.
she's proving that she's the number one in the world.
I think as well, what we are noticing now is that Iga, there are going to be certain tournaments and certain conditions, and of course, certain surfaces where it's like, I think we're seeing quite a clear pattern with her in terms of Indian Wells is probably always going to be a good tournament for her. And Australian Open and Wimbledon, for example, and Madrid, maybe to some extent, are always going to be difficult for her. But when I say good for her, I also mean very good. So the bagels and the breadsticks that we're familiar with, I think we're going to be seeing them on a regular basis at the tournaments where she excels. And Indian Wells, I think, is going to be one of those.
Yes, I agree with you. And, maybe the way she's playing and the bagels that she's doing, they make the players against her to feel to feel afraid to know that it's not going to be an easy game. So sometimes she's winning the match before she even starts. So
I
it's a
agree.
good plus for her, and she's keep working on what she need to improve. And we saw Sabalenka today or yesterday exactly. She was not good. And on my prediction on my podcast, I said if she got to the quarters, that was gonna be okay for Sabalenka. She's still batting the Australian Open.
Yes. Iga, by the way, has won the first game, but she had a little trouble at 40-15. There was a point where she should have won the point. She came to the net. She had a fairly easy put away, but she put it in the wrong place. If she goes cross court with that put away, she wins the point. But she actually kind of aimed it in the direction of Noskova, and as a result, Noskova got back into the point. And there was a couple of very low bounces off the racket of Noskova, and of course, Noskova did beat her in Australia. But I saw the win predictor had Iga at 84%. I thought that was quite generous for Iga, but I don't know what you think.
It was surprising for me because Noskova already beat Swiatek in Australia. I thought maybe it's gonna be 70-30, but no. They think that Iga is much better. And by the way, Noskova won the toss and she decided to receive.
Okay.
So
curious.
So I think
do you play tennis, by the way, Basil? Do you play tennis?
Yes.
And do you like your serve? Are you a big server? Are you a serve bot?
No, I'm not big server, but it depends who I'm playing against. So
Got it.
sometimes I decide to receive.
By the way, have you been watching the football this weekend? Of course, I just watched. It was perfect timing because Liverpool against Man City finished at like 20 minutes ago or 15. Yeah, 20 minutes ago. So it was like, okay, that's perfect. Now I can switch to Iga.
It was, by the way, a great result. 1-1.
It's a good result for Arsenal, which is a good result for me and you.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, Iga is already making an impression on the Noskova serve here.
I think the first set is not going to be a big title for this game. Only
Okay.
if Noskova is in a bad day. I think the first set is gonna be here or there, but I don't think that gonna decide the match. Only if Noskova is playing really bad and he made a double fault, 15.
She did,
40.
yeah. Yeah, she has 2 double faults in this game, and in fact, she's struggling to get her first serve in at all. I'm not sure if she's a bit anxious or she's just aware that she's going to have to serve pretty big on the second serve against
Oh,
one of the best
really cool
returners.
love shot.
Yeah. Kren is asking basically what's good. I presume he's wanting a prediction. I'm going to go Iga in straight sets.
I gonna go Iga 3 sets.
Straight or 3?
No, 3.
Oh, 3. Okay. So you think it's going to be a
Yeah, I
competitive
think
match?
Noskova is going to make some noise for Iga. I hope so. I want to see a long match for Iga, not a 1-hour match.
Let's see. I mean, as you said, Iga played really well against Daniel Collins in the previous one, particularly in the second set. I'm not sure if Collins' level dropped a little bit as well, but yeah, Corinne, I think you might be right that there's a pressure from the other side of the net that suggests she cannot just put her second serve in. She's got to serve quite big. There's a nice drop shot there, by the way, to help her get it back to what is now deuce.
Yeah, until ambassador for Iga and advantage Noskova.
Nice. That's really impressive considering that she was obviously down 15-40. By the way, talking of predictions, who have you predicted to win the tournament on both the men's and the women's side?
I pick Rybakina and say maybe Goff, but it's Goff played bad yesterday, and Rybakina already withdraw, so I don't know.
What about the men's side?
I pick Sinner.
Sinner, okay, to continue his unbeaten run.
Yeah.
So do you think Sinner will beat Alcaraz in the semi-final?
Yes, I just see he's in a good form right now. Maybe he's going to go far here in the Netherlands and in Miami.
I have been watching some of Monfils at this tournament, and it feels like it's 2004 rather than 2024 regarding him. And long may it continue, because we don't know how much longer we're going to get, obviously, with Gael on the tour. But yeah, I mean, of course, he had a drop-off in the second set. So to manage to sort of continue his good form into the third, that was a lovely volley, by the way, from Noskova to win that game. Obviously, winning 4 points in a row was very important for her, given that she was 15-40 down. So a nice hold of serve, and she's already making a slight impression on the Iga serve in this third game.
Yeah, Noskova. She's when she's in the mood, she's playing really good.
Basil, what is your Twitter handle, your Twitter name?
Basil Shofani.
Basil Shofani. Let me see if I can find you. No. So is that Basil Shofani, all one word?
Yes, one word.
Let me see. I know your Instagram. So what about Novak? Did you watch any of his match yesterday?
I watched not the whole match, but I thought that the second set, it's a regular thing for Novak. He need to adapt. He need to feel more comfortable. So in Australia, we saw that he is struggling against this match, and yesterday too. But I'm not unfailing. He played really well.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, not been here for 5 years, and hasn't played, of course, since Australia. So probably, I guess he'll get better as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, of course. I think he gonna be in the semi. He's in the half of Medvedev. Yes, he will make the final, I think. But in this form of Sinner, I think Sinner have more chances.
By the way, 1540 here on the Iga Swiatek serve. It was lovely. And I think we've got some sort of mini breaking news because Noskova has broken the Iga serve. So it's Noskova. That win percentage of 16% for her needs to change, I think, pretty quickly. And I can see now why you're going 3 sets. I mean, when you said 3 sets, Iga had 2 break points, and I was thinking, And now, I mean, it's Indian Wells, so we are seeing a lot of breaks of serve.
I don't know why it's going like that with me, but every time when I predict something about Iga or Sabalenka, goes right. It depends on the player we're playing against. So Noskova is not really comfortable player for Iga, and I think that it's going to be a long match. And Noskova is proving that I'm not wrong.
Yeah. But yes, we are seeing a lot of breaks of serve. There was a match I was watching on Friday. Oh, I did the it was a good match. Ostapenko Kerber, and I think in 26 games there were 13 breaks of serve. So basically half the match was a break.
You know the Indian Wells courts and slowest of the courts, I think, made many breaks. We don't see much aces. If you watch Medvedev or Zverev, particularly, we didn't see aces. So I think break of serve it's going to be more and more, especially on the women's side.
Yes, of course. I did see Gil Gross talking about court speeds via the Tennis Abstract website, actually. And in fact, despite one or two of the players, I think Andy Murray being one of them, saying that he felt it was being a bit quicker this year, the stats, at least until now, suggest that it's as slow as it normally is. By the way, talking of Andy Murray, what are your thoughts on him, retirement, and also the way he's, losing a lot of matches at the moment?
I don't know how to explain it, but he's playing things. He is doing what he loves, and I'm looking more on the journalists asking him many times about retirement. I think just keep him away from these questions, and you just want to play.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Wimbledon is going to be the last one.
I think so too. I do think that there's a little bit of I think there's been a bit of an exaggeration from Andy and especially from his fans about how often he's asked this question, because I have to say, until he randomly dropped it into an on-court interview in Dubai, he just sort of dropped it into and he wasn't being asked the question. He was just being asked about the match, and he dropped into the interview that he's going to be quitting this summer, probably. So, of course, the next available press conference, of course, somebody is going to say to him, really? Is that the case? In fact, I remember there being a lot of disappointment from the fans that he wasn't asked immediately in his next press conference. And the reason he wasn't was because, and I know this because Shrihari was at the press conference, he came straight to the press conference, and the journalists have to race from the stadium to the press conference. And so they weren't aware of the comments. But of course, 24 hours later, when the journalists could speak to him about that, of course, they're going to say, well, is that right? You're going to quit this summer? And he said yes. So, yeah, I don't know if he's being asked this question as often as he thinks he is. And I don't think it's because I didn't really hear him being asked about it until he mentions it. And of course, a journalist is going to be saying, is it real? Is it definitely happening? And he said, probably yes. I think he got asked about it in Indian Wells. So that's kind of like twice he's been asked, which to me, oh, hello, some balloons. To me, twice doesn't feel like a lot. And he's a big player. He's probably the third best or fourth best male player, in the last 20 years. You might debate Wawrinka and maybe Cilic and one or two others, but he's a legend of the sport. And I think, the journalists are keen to know, when he's going to keep playing until.
And he's British, don't forget this. So, by the way, it's already 3-1 Noskova.
Yeah.
I think Molay start thinking about retirement because he's starting feel not in the same level and the players in the tour. So it's better for him, I think, if he is feeling like that. I don't want him to exit now if he is feeling he want to play more and more. But if his level is down and he is feeling that he's not going to be better or beat top 50 or top 40 players, maybe it's better for him to retire at Wimbledon this year, not next year.
By the way, Tsitsipas is already 3-love up on Tiafoe. I'm not sure because I've not been watching. I'm not sure if this is Stefanos playing well or Tiafoe. I've just seen a couple of points actually from Tiafoe, and they were pretty bad points, in my opinion, from Francis, in that he could have and should have done a lot better. Tsitsipas hasn't been playing well recently, I don't think, but then Tiafoe his form in the last 6 months has gone right down.
Tiafoe, after the US Open, I don't remember what results
he lost to Ben
had.
Shelton. Exactly. Since he lost that match to Ben Shelton, and that was a 50-50 for me. I mean, Ben was playing really well. Maybe Francis not so well, but given that Francis had got to the semi-finals the year before, that was a 50-50. And there was a sort of lack of energy from Francis that day. And I don't think there's been much energy from him in the 6 months since.
Yeah, since then we didn't hear or saw him playing really, really good. Let's hope now in America he's going to be motivated by maybe Ben or Fritz or Tommy Paul, who's playing good. And let's see. But Tsitsipas is surprising me. It's 3-love.
Yeah. By the way, Iga was just struggling a little bit there at 30-all, although she's now at 40-30. For those of you just tuning in and asking who is Basel, well, Basel and I, we met in Madrid last year and I definitely recorded one podcast, I remember, together. And of course, you also came on during the ATP Tour Finals. I guess we just met, first of all, on social media, probably Twitter, probably a couple of follows, a few direct messages. When I discovered that you were in Madrid, of course, we were going to meet and have a drink, and we recorded a podcast together. So, yeah. And of course, you've got your own podcast. I'm going to try and say it. Is it Al Ursal Pod?
Yes, you say it perfect. Ursal, it's Serve. Yes, the Serve podcast in English.
Oh, is it? Is that what it is? The Serve podcast?
Yes.
So Ursal or Al Ursal is the Serve,
Al
right?
Ursal, yes. Al Ursal, the Serve.
Al Ursal. Okay, nice.
Yes.
Talking of serve, Iga has managed to hold. So it's 3-2 now for Noskova. But of course, Noskova has a break at the change of ends. And Francis is threatening to hold serve. My screen has just switched to his match briefly. Francis's form is off a cliff. Andy, I think regarding Murray, I just think that the frustration with these questions is more just because he's losing tennis matches. I don't know exactly what it is, but it feels like he's had 2 wins this year, I'm going to say. One in Indian Wells and I think one in Dubai. Let's have a quick look at some other matches.
I told you he just Mhm.
Oh, I see.
What do you think? He's
Marushan.
going to play clay court?
Good question. I think he'll play the French Open just because it's a massive, massive tournament that he wants to say goodbye to. I mean, he's been to the final there. You know, he's a former world number one, blah, blah, blah. So I think, in fact, I'm sure that he wants to because, in fact, Shrihari asked him that exact question. So this is not the retirement question exactly, but it is related to it. And so Shrihari, of course, when he confirmed that he was going to plan to retire this summer, Shrihari, I think, asked him a great question, which is a follow-up, you know, as in like, what tournaments, therefore, do you plan to play? And is the French Open on that list? Because he didn't play French Open last year. So, yeah, and he said he wants to play the French Open. I would imagine that his clay court season won't be too crazy. You know, he'll obviously play Miami and go as far as he can. I guess he'll play probably the 3 1000s, and that'll be it. I guess he'll play Monte Carlo, Madrid, and Rome. I guess he'll play those three, and then on to
I
Monte,
don't
and
think.
then on.
Maybe
You don't think?
maybe one or two. I don't think he's going to the all three masters on clay.
Okay, we'll see. I just think that they're not too close to each other. You know, I guess Madrid and Rome are quite close. I guess that 4 or 5 weeks from Madrid, Rome, French Open can be quite intense, but it's intense if you're Novak Djokovic or Carlos Alcaraz because you're getting to the final and the semifinals and winning those tournaments. Andy Murray
Yeah.
probably is going out in the first couple of rounds. So yeah, I would think he would play all three, but he might skip Rome given how close it is to the French Open. Of course, there's a good chance that he'll go out early at the French Open and maybe switch to the grass quite quickly. I'm just wondering, the Surbiton Challenger, I think, is in the second week of the French Open. So if he goes out in the first week at the French Open, which probably he will, then he'll switch over to the grass still quite quickly.
Let's see. Noskova is going. Noskova is playing really good, you know.
Yeah. 3 sets incoming. Looks like she's going to hold serve here. By the way, there has been a break of serve in the Sabot-Wilt-Marozsan match. Marozsan is leading 4-2 with a break. Tsitsipas is leading 4-1 with a break. And, of course,
And
regarding
Noskova.
Noskova as well. Yeah.
What do you think? If Noskova winning the first set, it's over, or
No, it's not
because
over.
when Iga is not playing well and not everything goes as she planned, she lost.
I know what you mean. We did see that about a year ago with Iga, quite a bit at the beginning of last year, that she was either winning in straight sets or losing in straight sets. I think she got to Madrid last year, and I think her whole year was pretty much like that, maybe with the odd exception. And she got asked about that exact question in Madrid, and she was a bit annoyed by it because someone, I think it was Tumani Carriol from The Guardian, asked her about it, and she was a bit annoyed because it's like, no, I'm happy to play 3 sets. I'm happy to fight for wins, blah, blah, blah. But let's see. I think if she loses the first set, I think the probability that we get 3 is very strong.
Yes. No, you know, I'm just thinking about Iga's year and looking to Sabalenka, Rybakina, Goff, and I think Iga is in a good place, and she's going to stay at the number 1 for a long time.
Yeah, because I think the thing is, okay, she's got a lot of French Open points to defend, but, you know, she didn't make the final in Rome. She didn't win Madrid. You know, I know she won Stuttgart, but in terms of her clay form last year, it was okay, but she wasn't going into the French Open, you know, winning every tournament before. So she's not defending a huge amount. She got to the semifinals in Indian Wells, and I think she could and may and should probably go even further now that Rybakina's out here. So, you know, she didn't play Miami. So she's world number 1, and yet there's still lots of points out there for her to gain.
And Sabalenka and Rybakina, they have many points to defend. So I don't think at Sabalenka semi-final Roland Garros, semi-final Wimbledon, so many points to
Winning
defend.
Madrid. She wins
So I
Madrid.
see her tell Wimbledon the number 1.
Yeah, and of course Iga could go beyond
15-40.
Ooh, yeah.
Not really good. And by the way, on the women's side, we already saw many surprising. Ostapenko already out, Azarenka, Rybakina withdraw. So as usual,
I
what I can say.
missed that. Azarenka's out, is she?
Yeah. She lost to Dulehate
When did that happen?
yesterday. In the morning, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
For us, for me and you, and it's on the morning.
Okay.
And Jing already out. She lost to her
Yes.
Yuan, the
Qinwen
Chinese
Zheng, yeah.
player. So
Yeah.
in the top 8, we still have only
Sabalenka.
Swiatek, Sabalenka, Goff, and Sakari is top 8 now.
Zachary's top 10, yeah. I don't think she's top 8, but she's top 10.
Yeah. So when Tosova out, on Jabal out, withdraw from Rybakina, Pigula already out. So
do let us know in the live chat who you think is going to win on the women's side. And the thing is, with those 3 players who are in the top 8 anyway, the sort of the 3 players that are clear favourites right now, Goff is not playing great by her level. I think since the US Open, she's had a slight dip. But on top of that, the dip has also coincided with some excellent, unbelievable performances from Iga, Elena, and Arena. At one tournament or another, each of those 3 players have just been amazing. Whether it was Rybakina in Brisbane.
Iga defended 2 points, 40-40.
She did, yes. Very important 2 points as well.
Yeah, so
coming into the net there. Yeah, very important because she's back at deuce. But and Arena looked very shaky last night.
I watched the golf match. And I just tried to understand, is she playing bad or the opponent is playing good? And in the third set, when she was 2-5 down, only then she started to play really good. But before that, even when she won the second set, she was not really good. So it's an alert. Let's see what she's going to do tomorrow in the third round.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. But she's not been playing great since the US Open. Yeah, her results certainly haven't. I mean, semi-final Australia. She won in New Zealand, I think. But yeah, considering how good she was playing in those, the US North American swing last year.
After the US Open in the women's side, only Swiatek did really good in China, and the other top seeds didn't do anything particularly. Sakari won on Guadalajara, Pegula won in somewhere, San Diego, somewhere, right? Pegula. And that's it. Only Swiatek made a really great finish of the year. So
yep, agree.
Opa, really good point.
She's got herself, yeah. Francis is now 5-1 up, and Marozsan has won the first set.
Who is Marozsan?
Who's asking that? Who is Marozsan? Are you asking?
I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking. Okay.
We saw him on Rome, and that's it. And
I know. But listen, Damien, who's obviously of this parish, he's a big follower of Marozsan at the very least. You've got a little wave here from Jane. Hi, Jane. Nice to see you here. By the way, for those of you tuning in, please do hit the like button. I mean, but actually, Damien made a more or less a prediction, or certainly he said the night before that Marozsan Alcaraz match, Marozsan has a chance. Marozsan has a good chance of the upset, more or less. He didn't exactly 100% predict it, but his words were, this could be a chance for Marozsan, just because he's such an aggressive player. He loves the drop shot, maybe even more than Carlos does. So, he just said, look, if someone's going to beat Carlos, it's going to be this kind of aggressive player who's not afraid to take Carlos on. And that's exactly what happened. It was a crazy day, but it was straight sets.
Yes. And we have break point here.
Now we have break point for Noskova.
Yeah. Yes, was a really good backhand. And then, for me, if Noskova wins, it's not a surprise.
Okay. That would be back-to-back wins over. I mean, she's aggressive. I mean, I'm not saying that she's that similar to Ostapenko, but it'd be interesting to know if people out there do think that her and Ostapenko have some similarities. I mean, the thing that strikes me is that she's not afraid to go for it, like an Ostapenko. I think she's a little bit more controlled than Yelena, and that's an Iga unforced error that gave her the break point, but now it's back to juice again. Osaka. I think in my prediction, I put Osaka either in the quarter. I think I had Osaka in the quarters.
I didn't do it really, but she's playing good, by the way. She step by step is going to be the one who the others must be afraid.
Yeah.
Maybe Tsitsipas is going to win the first set just in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, Francis.
And Iga won the game. It's 4-3.
She's held, yes. That was a big hold from Iga. And now, having had those break points, now it's like, okay, Noskova, let's see how strong you are. Because now it's obviously on her to obviously see out this set if she can. But of course, if she breaks there, the set is more or less done with 2 breaks. But 4-3 with just 1 break on this surface against the best player in the world. Now there's a bit of pressure now for Noskova. It doesn't feel like it feels like this set is 60-40 rather than 80-20 if she wins that previous game.
I told you at the beginning 70-30 and not going to be an easy match for Iga.
Indeed, you were right.
What do you think about Haddad Maya Pavlyuchenkova?
I went for Pavlyuchenkova in that match.
Yeah.
Again, I think conditions here, not bad for her.
Yeah, and she's coming back strongly.
She of course was out injured for about a year. And then she played Madrid last year. That's her first tournament back, I think.
Yes. And we have third match between Kalinskaya and Paulini.
I do remember Kren was very critical of Osaka at the beginning of the year, but I think Osaka's form is kind of basically just progressively getting better. She looked okay at spells at the beginning of the year, but I remember her playing Garcia and thinking, I think Garcia is going to win this because it's just too soon. If she played Garcia a few weeks later, and she did, I put Osaka as the favorite, but she just needed a few weeks to get up to speed. And now I mean, she said in her press conference yesterday, which I'm just uploading, by the way, right now, so check that out very shortly. She said that this is the tournament where I kind of realized that I could play with the big dogs. She called them the big dogs, which is quite funny. So it was Indian Wells that kind of made her, if you like, in terms of realizing just how good she is. Oh, and by the way, Linda Noskova, Iga Swiatek, love 40 now. That was that previous game. Yeah.
Tennis women, women's tennis.
Yeah.
But I like it. Many people don't like that it's up and downs, but no, for me it's a great scenarios all the time.
Me too. Me too.
I think she's going to break. 4-4. You was right.
There you go. There you go. Yep, Noskova went too long, too big, perhaps, on that last point, and paid the price. And we're back on serve. And now it feels like Iga's a strong favorite in this set. And she's won the first point as well. Oh, Tiafoe's got one of those breaks back, 5-3.
30-all.
Yeah, on the Stefanos serve. So Stefanos is trying to serve it out for the second time. From 5-1 to 5-3, 30-all.
We thought that Tsitsipas is going to be.
Yes, we did.
No.
I still think he'll win this set and win the match probably, but yeah, it's got a little bit more interesting.
You see how Iga is good mentally. Wow.
Yeah. Now she's comfortable here, 40 love. This match could arguably all be about that game, that 2 games ago when Noskova has... Did Noskova have love 40 on the Iga serve? I think she did.
15-40.
Oh, 15-40 was it? Okay. I thought it was love 40. But anyway, she had 15-40 on the Iga serve. And yeah, and then there was deuces. And then I think she had another break point as well. And Iga has indeed held serve. So over to you, Noskova. That's 3 games in a row now for Iga, including a break, of course. Tsitsipas has set point at 40-30. If I'm ahead of you... Go on. Sorry.
Sabalenka, for example, she's struggling mentally. Yesterday, she was losing. I thought that's it. But Iga, we didn't see Iga in such matches a lot, but Sabalenka we saw. So if Goff or Sabalenka or Rybakina or any else player want to compete Swiatek, they must improve mentally, because otherwise Swiatek going to be for a long time #1. So let's hope that Osaka is going back in form, because she can do a great work and come back strong.
Right. So some stats here from the first set between Tsitsipas and Tiafoe, because Tsitsipas has now indeed won that. 8 winners to 3, and Tsitsipas 11 unforced errors from him as opposed to Tiafoe's 10, so fairly close. But the most important stat, of course, is that Tsitsipas won that first set 6-3. Tiafoe had a good chance to pass Stefanos, actually. He just put it just wide. It was a very close call, but yes. Anyway, so Tsitsipas wins the first set, and he's obviously looking good. What about Iga? Love 15. So that's, I think, 5 or 6, I think it's 7 points maybe in a row for Iga now.
Yeah.
So the tide is turning. She did, Kren, yes. She knocked her out in Australia in the third round, I think it was. But very different conditions there. Very different. A lot quicker. This slower, grittier nature in Indian Wells.
Last 15 point, 13 point, Iga won.
Yes. That tells you that the tide has changed.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when was Tsitsipas's last tournament win? I can only remember Los Cabos in the last.
It's the last one. Last year he won only this.
Just one tournament last year?
Yeah. He just go in the private life with Badosa, and he forgot about the tennis.
Things are changing a little bit, though, back towards Noskova right now. She has stemmed the tide and now is up 40-15.
Good for us. I'm looking forward to see what Noskova have to do against Iga after this 15-16 points.
Yes. So that sort of 13-2 ratio has now changed because, of course, she's won the last 3 points. Although Iga's fighting back now at 40-30. Of course, technically, Iga is just 3 points away from winning this set, but until she actually gets a set point, it still feels quite far.
Mm-hmm.
Tiafoe has held serve at the beginning of the second set, and Wild and Marajan are on serve as well.
I'm testing to know who's the next for Tsitsipas or Tiafoe. Let's see, because I don't. Wait.
Well, we do have a set point for Iga.
Yeah.
Who is Iga potentially playing in the next round, or the winner of Iga versus Noskova?
Iga, Keys, Potentseva.
Okay.
And for Tsitsipas, if he wins, you're going for Rublev Lechechka.
Okay.
Waiting, testing. Because I don't know what to expect from Tsitsipas last few months.
No, and Lehecka, I think, could be a problem for him. Of course, they played each other in Australia with Tsitsipas winning that one in straight sets. Some unforced errors here off the racket of Noskova. I mean, Noskova,
that point.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
I just had a hope, but
yeah. Now it does feel a bit more like straight sets. I think Noskova winning was kind of important. She had to win the first set if it was to go 3. I mean, to be honest with you, there were some short balls from Iga in that game, but Noskova didn't punish her either because she did a very bad drop shot on that set point. I wonder if it was the pressure at that point because you're facing set point, but maybe also the fact that she did the drop shot because she had a couple of other short balls before and wasn't able to punish her. Anyway, Kren thinks that Iga's going to bagel her in the second set. That's a little bit much.
No. I don't think it's Bagel, but
No, I don't think so either. Noskova is actually going to go off court, probably for a mental reset, I would have thought, because she was up 4-2 and had 2 break points for 5-2, 2 mini set points, you could argue. And then in that last game, she had chances and she just couldn't keep the ball in the court, or she did a horrible drop shot.
yeah, I think she need rest because she had the chance to win the set and she lost it.
Yeah.
And she played really good, but the last, let's say 20 points, she lost maybe 15.
Yeah. For those of you just tuning in, do hit the like button on this video. And if you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. And if you subscribe, you will get the pleasure of seeing that little number below me tick over as well. And you can do a little dance to celebrate. Also, make sure you check out Basil. If you're an Arabic speaker as well, do check out Basil's podcast, which I'll probably put on the screen for you as well. The Serve, as it is in English. And of course, give Basil a follow on all the social medias, whether that be Instagram or Twitter. Here it is.
Thank you, John. I switched to Tsitsipas Tiafoe while Noskova is in the toilet.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look at the scores on the doors. Seyboth, Wild, and Marozsan remain on serve, and so do Tiafoe and Tsitsipas. They're at a similar moment in a way, with Marozsan having won the first set and Stefanos too. Yeah, I've got Tsitsipas Tiafoe now on my screen.
Let's see the serve. Wow. Bad volley from Tiafoe.
Oh dear, yeah. I mean, the serve kicked up. The serve kicked up nicely for him to come into the net and do a serve volley, but the volley just was.
The touch. You need to feel the. But look at Tiafoe's moving and body language is not comfortable. You see, he's not playing in a mood.
Mm-hmm.
Love 40.
Yeah.
By the way, John, do you know how much cost the tickets in Indian Wells?
No, but do you know?
No, just
Oh, okay. I think it's one of the more expensive tournaments. I don't know for sure, but I think it's more expensive than a lot of other tournaments.
That's for sure.
I mean, also just in general, it's a tournament I would love to go to, but it's probably maybe along with Australia, though the Australian Open, those two tournaments would be the most expensive for me as well, because getting there with the flights, etc., and then the hotel, the Australian Open and Indian Wells, they would probably be the two most expensive for me.
Yeah, I agree. Australia is really expensive, and
exactly.
And Tsitsipas got the break, and we have Badosa with Tsitsipas.
Yeah.
I just forgot his name.
Hey guys.
Badosa there, yeah.
Apostolos?
Hey, Vanch.
Good,
Oh,
how are you?
the father, Apostolos. Hey. Yeah, Apostolos.
Apostolos, yes.
How are you, Vanch?
Hey, Vanch.
Doing well. I got two matches on my screen here. I got Tsitsipas, Tiafoe, and I've got Swiatek, Noskova.
I've got both of them on the same, well, not on the same screen. I've got basically, they just switch between the two, depending on what's going on. But they've gone back to Swiatek, Noskova right now. What did you make of the first set, by the way, Vanch?
Yeah, it was one of those classic Iga getting really pushed early in the first few games. Noskova hitting it pretty hard and flat, using some good variety as well, getting Iga inside the baseline, inside the service box, moving up to the net. But I thought Iga adjusted pretty well. I think Noskova didn't play a great game at 4-3 when she was up a break, and that basically allowed Iga back in. And I thought that game at 2-4, because essentially she would have served at 5-2 with 2 breaks. That was huge that Iga was able to get out of that game. Hit it a forehand inside out winner, I believe, on the 3rd break point. And then I think from 5-4 as well, 40-15, couple loose points, get it back to deuce. Not great by Noskova, and then after that, the great dig from Iga on the set points. So usually this is when Iga grows in confidence after a set like this. It's a little bit like sometimes when Iga plays these big hitters early in a tournament, you got to be able to take advantage and get that first set, because that's where she's rusty and she's having to execute under pressure. She doesn't quite have the rhythm yet.
Basel and I were saying the same about that 2-4 game when Iga was under a lot of pressure. Was she 15-40 or love 40? Basel said it was
15-40, and then another break point at deuce.
You were right, Basel. Then I wasn't sure if it was love 40. Just looking back, but Basel and I were saying that was a big moment, because as you say, 5-2, and you're looking good, obviously, for the set, and you're looking good in terms of the position where you would be in the match as well. But at that particular moment is when Iga went on a run, I think, of winning 13 out of the next 15 points. And when she won those 4 points in a row as well in that particular game, 4-3 felt really close. 4-3 felt on this court as well, where serving is not such a big advantage compared to other courts and other tournaments. I just thought, okay, 4-3 feels like it's so close now, rather than obviously 5-2 with a double break. And the moment that felt like there was a momentum, it felt at the time like there was a momentum shift, and that proved to be the case. And also, Vanch, I also like what you said about that final game, because still, on serve could well be a tie break, and then who knows what happens. But at 4-5, 40-15, Noskova had chances. She had a couple of short balls from Iga that she just should have won the point from there, but she didn't. I think she put one of them out, and there was another one that Iga defended quite well on. And then there was that pretty horrible drop shot on set point that I wonder, because that was she was in quite an attacking position on that shot. And I wonder, maybe the fact that it was set point, the fact that she erred with the previous 2 chances that she had, maybe she thought, I'm going to do something different. Wow, what about that for a defensive shot from Iga, by the way? Basel, did you see that one from Iga, where she's on the stretch and it basically landed on the baseline?
Yes, it was in the first game.
It was like one point ago. There was you probably I think you were about 1 point ahead of me, Basel. But there was a shot from Iga that I've just seen.
I saw it.
Yeah, I've seen it. This is just amazing defense.
Yeah.
So
30. Basel, are you still backing yourself for the 3 sets that you predicted at the beginning?
Let's see if Noskova keep the serve now. Yes, but if she loses, so maybe it's going to be bigger.
Indeed. Vanch, Basel was asking me about prices of tickets. Do you know off the top of your head? I mean, I know you went there a year ago. What is it? What is a ticket price for Court 1, for example?
Well, usually, if you want to get stadium tickets, it's like $75-$80 US dollars. If you want to sit in like the 400s, if you want to sit in the 400s or at the very top of the stadium, that's usually the price. You can also just get a grounds pass for the outside courts in the first weekend. But honestly, with the stadium ticket, you can go anywhere. So I would prefer to get that, because then no one will stop you from going to any of the courts.
Iga has the break.
Yes, quarters and semis is more expensive.
For me, that doesn't sound too bad. I thought it would be more. That's not. That's obviously like not the final, Vance. You're talking about. You're talking about sort of the first week of the tournament, yeah.
Yeah, and then also like I was looking at quarterfinal tickets this year, and it's like $80.
That's not bad.
Pretty good. That's pretty good, because you get all 8 quarterfinals. I guess 4 on the first court, and then 4 on the court 2. And,
and it's good price for the tournament.
I thought it would be more.
Then also, like you do need to get, like, if you want, they do have day session and night session, so you do have to pay more for Like if you want to get both. Like I think night
Right.
session is like $50, day session is 80.
Okay, because you get more matches on in the day.
Yeah.
So if I wanted the quarterfinals, I would get 2 matches on court 1 and 2 matches on court 2, right?
Yeah, I think so. If they schedule it like how they
Yeah.
tend to.
Yeah, but that's still reasonable. I remember actually when I went to the US Open about 2 years ago, I think it was just under 2 years ago. The price of the tickets were all right. I think I got one for the women's final for about 100, I think. $100,
Wow,
I
that's
think. I
pretty
got
good.
it. I got it last minute though. I waited because I was noticing I've been to the US Open 3 times now, and I noticed that tickets are quite easy to come by. Of course, Nadal Djokovic final, or I mean, I don't think it's been a while since they played a final, but you know what I mean. Those matches, maybe like I remember getting my men's final ticket in 2019. I got that many months before. But you can get tickets quite easy. It's not like Wimbledon or the French Open where it's just saying sold out, sold out, sold out all the time. And then you're watching a match that like has been telling me for 3 months it's sold out, and I'm watching and I'm thinking there's nobody in the stadium. That's so annoying in tennis.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the Wimbledon ticketing thing? And do you like the whole concept, like the queue plus, or would you prefer you could just get tickets online?
What do you think, Basil? I mean, Basil, have you been to Wimbledon?
No. I think it's a mission to go there because you need to step by step, level by level to get there. So I hope one day I will be there.
I'm kind of divided on it, Vanch. I don't mind it, but it got really quite bad this year because for whatever reason, for the first time, people were queuing for hours and hours and hours. And I mean, so maybe from 9 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. And at 5 in the afternoon, they were told, sorry, you're not going to get in. So, of course, the queue concept is pretty much based on there's a limit, of course, and they get to that limit at whatever time. I guess when they start letting people in at 11 o'clock, they're counting the people that go in. And then there's like a point at around about 5,000 people or whatever the number is. And they say, right, no more. And so then you're just waiting all day on people to leave. And of course, yeah, even at 2 or 3 o'clock, people may leave, especially if they just had a grounds pass and they want to see a particular match at the beginning of the day. So you're waiting on, and for whatever reason, for the first time, there was a lot of people queuing and they just never got in. But I don't mind that so much. There's a lot of other things with Wimbledon that I'm more upset with. I mean, center court is often empty because it's so corporate. I say empty, maybe not quite empty, but I remember watching Nadal Fritz a couple of years ago, and the stadium was like half empty until like the third set. And then the people came from the corporate world. Half empty is probably an exaggeration, but there was hundreds and maybe more seats available, many of which were nearby. And I remember one of those groups was Evian, the water company.
Yeah.
And like 20 people turned up for about a set and then they went again. Now, I know every tournament has a corporate element. I just feel that the US Open is a bit less because I do see regular folk going to matches at the US Open.
Yeah. Regular folk plus celebrities.
Plus celebrities, yeah. And the celebrities in the expensive seats, fine. The regular folk are up in the clouds where I was, but that's fine. And you just don't get regular folk. You either get super rich, queuers, or the elite or the corporate. That's kind of where we're at with the people in the queue are regular folk. You get a lot of regular folk in the queue, which is great. But yeah.
The year that I went in 2018, I got very lucky actually because England was still in the World Cup, so they were playing for the third place match.
I was in Russia. I missed the Novak Djokovic match because I was watching. Oh, did you? You went to Russia or you missed it?
Yeah, I was in Russia in the World Cup.
Oh, great. Okay. Which matches did you see, Basil?
The semi-final, Belgium, France.
Me too, in St. Petersburg.
Yes.
We were in the same stadium. I didn't see you there.
Yeah. Wow. I was with the family, by the way.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Is that the only game you saw of Basil?
Yeah, I went for 2 weeks, but I just got for the semi. I studied in St. Petersburg 5 years.
Oh, really? You lived in St.
I lived
Petersburg?
there. Yes, I lived in Russia. I know Russian as English. So
Oh, really? Okay. Nice. And Iga has held for 3
yeah,
love, Vanch. Now,
I
this
think time for me to.
time for you to abandon your 3-set prediction.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think so too. And that's 3 plus 4, 7 games in a row, I think, Vanch.
Yeah, I mean, like when she wins the first set, she doesn't lose in a 1,000, or she hasn't yet lost a completed match. So
Really?
it's pretty ridiculous. It's like 67-0 right now.
Wow.
Wow.
And given how
Uh,
3 sets is short, I mean, you
Yeah.
look, winning the first set, if you have player A against player B, winning the first set is probably like a 70-30 kind of scenario, Vanch.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and that's why, like, the first set against Rybakina in Doha. If Rybakina needed to win that, and that's kind of how I felt about Noskova here as well. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that game, and I did say it at the time as well. I said that game feels huge. That 2-4. I mean, there were other moments, and Iga still got to do her job, definitely. But
yeah.
what's up with Tiafoe at the moment, Vanch? Can't seem to buy a win. Never mind.
He's really struggling, man. Like since the U.S. Open, since that Chilton match in the quarterfinals, he just
Yeah.
seems to have just lost all that spark and intensity. And he's a player who plays with like a lot of joy, and like he just doesn't seem to, then he split with his coach as well, Wayne Ferreira. They had a really good 3 years together. And so that kind of, made me surprise me. He's got a lot of off-court stuff as well going on.
Has he?
That
What's he
some of
got?
it as well. He's got a ton of sponsors. Like he's literally got blue chip sponsors just lined everywhere. Like since that US Open run,
Okay.
yeah, he is just like, he's just been loaded since then with off-court commitments and whatnot. But I don't think that's the sole reason. I think also there's some things in his game holding him back as well. I just, the forehand sometimes lets him down. The technique on that wing, the really extreme grip when he comes up against players, especially who are kind of net rushing him, or they're just taking control of a lot of these rallies. I think the serve, which was such a huge thing in that 2022 US Open, plus also times last year, it's not just, I would say, like since the grass court season, he's like really struggled. Even though he got to the US Open quarterfinals, I didn't think he looked very convincing on the way there. And he kind of like
Great.
the draw really opened up. He didn't really place anyone great to get to that quarters. It was very expected that he would get there. And then kind of Shelton just took over the whole stage, and it was like the total reversal of what you were hoping to see, because normally it's Tiafoe who commands the whole crowd and he's got the whole US support. But
As you were talking about Francis's forehand and net rushing opponents, I was watching an exact point just like that. It was a forehand that he should have done better on. It was an attempt at a passing shot. Stefanos picked it up at the net with a half volley quite comfortably. And Stefanos was obviously net rushing him. And it was in the end, Francis won the point with a nice backhand. But I was watching a carbon copy of some of the thing, and I saw that forehand sort of just not do any damage at all. And it was almost like he put too much whip on it, and it wasn't quick enough as a result. But yeah. And Basel, by the way, we've got some break points for Iga, although Noskova has saved one of them.
And also just like some of his losses recently, like he's barely putting up fights. Like he lost to Paul 2-2. Like that's not something you would expect a player of his caliber to do. And then like this is a guy who cracked the top 10 before Wimbledon. He won that title. He beat Struff in that final. It was a really well played final. Like Struff was so close to winning it.
Yeah.
Iga is leading for love.
Yep, Iga's leading for love, Basel.
Yeah. Whoa.
So Basel and I will also look. Kren was in the live chat earlier saying bagel incoming 6-love or 6-1, and both Basel and I were like, listen, Noskova's playing too well for that. Okay, she blew the first set, but that moment, I know I keep talking about that 2-4 moment. It feels like the confidence from Linda has drained, but also the boost of confidence that Iga has taken since that moment.
The way she's just ran away with this match is just... I mean, she did this in the first match against Collins as well. It was like 3-all, 15-40. Iga was serving, and like Collins was it was similar. It wasn't quite as dominant as it is as it was for Noskova in the beginning, but like you got the feeling like once Iga got out of that game at 3-all, 15-40, it was the exact same thing that's happening right now, and she just went on a run of like 8 games in a row.
Yeah.
And this is like
I think Noskova already lost the second because it's Iga.
I mean, she started Basel. She started the match as well. She was down 15-40, I think, maybe in the first game. It was certainly her first service game, and there was quite a few double faults in that first game, and it felt like those double faults were partly brought about because of the person on the opposite side of the net, knowing that one of the best returners in the game. But then she's the one who ends up breaking and having that early advantage.
Yeah, and kind of I looked ahead to her draw as well, because we were also looking at potentially Ostapenko, Rybakina again in her section. It's basically a carbon copy of our Australian Open draw, right? But now like Rybakina pulled out, Ostapenko lost to Kerber. So now I'm like, what about Madison Keys?
Well, that did happen in Australia in a way as well, because Ostapenko did end up losing before she never even. I know Iga lost too, but neither of those made that fourth round encounter. And of course, okay, Rybakina, different circumstances, but she didn't make the semi-final in Australia either. Fingers crossed she can get healthy again soon. But
it's kind of crazy. I mean, if you take out the last 2 hardcourt majors. Because in both the hardcourt majors that she lost, she won the first set. She played a really good first set against Noskova and AO in the 3rd round, and then also against Ostapenko in the 4th round. And she lost both those matches. And then you had the stat of her like not losing a single match in 1,000 for like 5 years after winning the first set.
Basel, if you could go to a tournament, which one would you go to? If you could just choose any. Rome. Yeah, you and I were talking about Rome a few months ago, Basel, and because you were sort of saying I'd love, to try and get a accreditation, and you kept talking to me about Rome, and I was like, I like Rome, it's nice, and I was there last year, not in the media, but just as a fan. But I was thinking, if from the media perspective, the chances in Rome I think are less than some of the tournaments, but it is a nice setting. But you're vulnerable to the weather. We certainly were last year, anyway.
Yes, I don't know. I just want to be in the whole place. But I'm planning maybe Australia next year if everything is going good. I'm planning to go there.
Oh, okay. It's basically the only tournament I haven't really applied. I mean, of course, there's been a few 250s and maybe 1 or 2 500s as well. But the last, say, 6 months or so, I've been applying for, you might only see us at 5 tournaments, which seems like a lot. But trust me, I've applied to 10 or 15 or whatever. But Australia, I didn't try. None of the Australian swing or anything. So I'm not saying we would have had a chance, but I didn't try Australia because it's just too far and too expensive. And Iga is 5 love. That was a kind of an unforced error off the return there. And Marozsan has beaten Fields.
Oh, wow. So we could get a rematch of the Rome meeting.
Oh, okay.
Carlos, if Carlos can.
Really? Is that Carlos' next match potentially?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damien and I were thinking it could be either Khachanov or Jari, but they both lost.
I think I had Jari getting, in my prediction, I think I had Jari getting to meet Carlos. Which
I had Khachanov, so we were both wrong.
Okay. Which would have been a repeat of course, their semi-final in Buenos Aires recently.
Yeah.
So, Jean, I think after the game, I'm leaving.
Yes, no, we'll all be leaving because we're going to finish the stream after the Iga.
Yeah, no, I mean because my predict was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought Noskova is going to be much better, but she was
She was
good,
in a way. I mean, your thoughts are not completely off because probably there's a parallel universe out there right now where we're going into a third set.
Yes, yes. But Swiatek, as Van said when she won the first set of the Masters, she didn't lose.
Yes, exactly. Is that Tiafoe breaking back? I just saw an unforced error there from Stefanos, and I see it's 4-3, but no, it's not. It was on the Tiafoe serve. So Stefanos remains up a set and a break, while Iga is one game away from winning her match against Noskova, and that'll help if she's another unforced error there from Noskova. I mean, I think that was unforced, that one from Noskova, but it did feel a bit forced as well, Vanch. I don't. You've done unforced errors and errors, right?
Yeah, I missed that point, so I would have to-
Okay. It was just. I mean, I'll tell you what happened, but it was kind of at her feet on a return from Iga.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's
I'd probably
first.
have to see it again to be sure. I probably would go for an unforced error, but I'd have to watch it.
You
again
go
to be
on.
Sure. There you go. Job done.
Perfectly right.
Job done.
Wow.
And I've got Iga winning the tournament, so I mean, it's not the biggest prediction ever, I know, but with Elena now out of her path, and with the way that Arena and Coco are playing,
Yes, I agree.
yeah. All right, Basil. Thank you for coming along. Great to see you today, and we'll be catching up again soon.
Thank you so much, and I hope to predict better next time.
We've all been there. Take care, Basil. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, Vance. Bye, John.
Bye, Basil. Nice to meet you.
Just one question, Vance, before you go, because we're both going to go and we've got things to do, I know. Just going to have one question for you, Vance. I predicted Iga to win the tournament. Did you? And if you did, why or why not?
I did too, yeah. It was a combination of the conditions and how I felt like the hard-hitting opponents that she struggled with in Australia would be easier to combat here. And yeah, in general, just her record in 1000s recently, just in general, how well she's been playing besides those 2 losses. And also, yeah, the not feeling that confident about the rest of the top 5. Because I knew Pegula wasn't going to be a factor. I knew that Goff is a bit shaky. Rybakina, I had questions about her health, especially after Middle East. And then Sabalenka, I wasn't sure, but I'm really hoping that we get a Sabalenka-Swiatek final. That's what I would love out of this tournament.
Yeah, right. And we sort of, maybe a bit Madrid-like. I mean, I don't think we've got quite the altitude in Indian Wells, of course, but the slow grittiness of Indian Wells is sort of often compared to clay. I just feel with Iga Vance that we kind of don't get that many surprises with her. I know, you might go, wow, losing to Noskova or who did she lose to the year before? Was it Rybakina in Australia? I think it was. But, when we go into a tournament and we're thinking, I think Iga's looking ominous, she wins. When we go into a tournament and we're like, I don't think this is right for Iga, she doesn't win it. She like Madrid. We go into Madrid last year, including that final, but the tournament as a whole, we're going, just think that if she's going to not win a clay court tournament, it's going to be this one. She went out in Rome, I guess that might be the one-off in that list of the last 18 months. But when we go into Wimbledon, we're going, yeah. When we looked at Australia, we're like, the tournament plus the run plus the draw. Well, obviously, we were looking at Ostapenko and Rybakina, but she never got that far. But even before that, we knew that Daniel Collins was going to ask us some questions. So it feels like when we expect Iga to win the tournament, she does. And when we think she might have a few problems, she does.
More or less, she's kind of become an easier player to predict in a way because you can go based on the conditions and based on your gut feeling. And most of the time, you'll probably be right. Like you can just look at, I just look at like all the 1000s, like Cincinnati, Dubai. Like I knew she wasn't going to win Cincy last year. I kind of didn't know. I don't think anyone thought she was winning Australia. I didn't have her winning Australia. And then you had, and then Wimbledon. Wimbledon's the one that that's going to be interesting how quickly she can figure that one out. There were some chances last year, but there were some missed opportunities by a bunch of players. But yeah, like it's mostly like clay, anything clayish, slow, hard court. I usually have her winning, regardless of the draw. Otherwise, for the more faster surfaces, I might still have her winning, but that just depends on the draw and where everyone else lands. And usually, by probability standpoint, like she's always going to be the favorite, just because. Yeah, like you just still trust her a little bit more than most of the top players.
Definitely. I'm going to share a link in the live chat before I end this stream because Carlos Alcaraz against Felix Auger-Aliassime, which is going to be brought to you by Nick and Biola, I think. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Oh, Nick Biola and Mario are going to be doing
Okay.
that match. And then we'll see you again later, Vanch, along with Damien for Struff against Sinner.
Against her, yeah.
Yeah. So take care, Vanch. I will speak to you soon.
Yep. Have a good one. I'll see you here later in the afternoon.
Cheers, Vanch. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Off Vanch goes. I'm going to end this stream any second. I'm just going to share the Alcaraz versus Felix link in the stream, so you can all join us for that match with Damien. With Nick, Biola, and Mario. This brings, though, to an end this particular stream, so do hit the like button and subscribe and all that jazz. Iga Swiatek has won 6-4-6 love over Linda Noskova, and she's therefore into the last 16 once again at Indian Wells. Everyone else, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
I didn't play my tennis tonight, but on the other hand, I was there to win it, you know. So for sure, I didn't, you know, live up to my standard as I usually do. So I'm not happy. But on the other hand, like these 2 weeks were so intense that you just have to look forward, and it doesn't matter now.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.